everyone, and welcome back to my channel and to another pick a card reading. Really excited about this one because I actually am filming this intro after the fact. So I already did all 3 piles, and there's some really specific messages in here. So I'm really excited for you to pick your pile and for us to hop in together. So today's pick a card reading is all about, what it is that you're meant to hear today. So this is really just a specific message that was meant to find you. You'll notice in today's reading, I'm not including any additional crystals on top of the piles. So I really want you to feel really, really drawn into the pile that you feel you need to hear from today versus maybe being more attracted to a particular crystal or anything like that. So no crystals today, but they will be in future readings. So no worries, I'm not changing the format here. But yeah, just really lean into your inner voice and your intuition and really just try and, like I said, like pick the pile that you feel like you can't not watch the most, because that's probably where you're going to find the most specific message. As always, I always like to say if you feel like you are drawn to multiple piles, that's totally normal, totally okay. Just feel free to watch both of those videos. There might be some really specific messages in there for you. And then last but not least, always take only what resonates. These are general readings, so don't make this fit for your particular situation. If you know, you know. So so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let you pause the video, whatever you need to do to really get at whichever pile you think is the message that's meant to find you today. So anyway, I'll see you in your reading. Bye. Hello, everyone who chose pile 1. So let's go ahead and hop right in. As you saw in the intro, we aren't using any crystals for this reading. I really wanted it to be truly the tarot that drew you in, because really this is where the message is going to be from you. So I know crystals can have some powerful meanings as well, but I really just wanted this reading in particular to be entirely focused on the tarot and seeing if you maybe were attracted to a specific pile based on the message that was only within the tarot. So anyway, that's a long intro to your pile. So let's go ahead and see what cards you got. So we have the Moon, the 2 of Pentacles, the 5 of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles, and the Ace of Cups. Okay, so for some of you watching this pile, and this is going to be really specific, I feel like, so this might not resonate with everyone, but basically what I'm kind of feeling is like a conversation. Well, first of all, right off the bat, I do want to say that 5-5 might be, the number 5 might be significant, or 5-5 might be significant for you. So if that makes sense, that might be a sign that this is your reading. But I think for a lot of you watching, or for someone out there watching, there may have been a terse, we'll say, or a terse conversation, something very argumentative, perhaps even a really big fight that happened between you and someone that felt very, very close. Okay, I am having some technical difficulties when it comes to getting this reading out. So anyway, I think there was a conversation or an argument or something of that nature, a very serious conversation, something like that felt very, very disappointing. And I think left one or both of you feeling even more confused or conflicted. And I do feel like this was, like I mentioned before my audio went out, that this was somebody who was very, very close to you. I do feel as though this is, and this doesn't have to be for everyone watching, but I think generally I'm getting the sense that this was a romantic partner, and maybe things between you were really, really good, but you or the other person just almost like, it felt like too many things were like unknown. Like the fact that like maybe you guys had been together for a really long time and things felt really stable in other in like one area of your connection. Like that was already like there was something like already like established between you, but there was still a lot of like important unknowns, like where is this going, where you know what I mean, like having that conversation of like where it is that one or both of you thought the connection was going. And I see that conversation kind of like happening and almost like disrupting the balance of things. And it's not that that's like a bad thing. I think I'm not saying that it had to be like a huge like split or anything. And in fact, that's not what I see here. So I think like if you're watching this and like that actually did happen to you, and maybe right now you're in a period of like no contact with this person, or things just feel super unstable and super unknown. It's almost like right now, because of the conversation or the argument, it's almost like, oh God, like, is this like over now? Like, I don't want it to be. I don't think that it is, if that's what's on your mind. But I actually think both of you right now kind of being in a place of like separation. And not it again, like it doesn't have to be like a literal like physical separation. It's not like you guys broke up. You guys might even like live in the same household for all I know. But I think it's like just the idea of like an energetic separation or like an energetic rift that happened as a result of what was said. And I think there's an opportunity for a lot of healing and repair. And so again, like if you're watching this and you're kind of like, oh, like this is resonating, like is it over? And I don't feel like it is, like based on what the cards are saying. In fact, I think like a lot of what was said had to be said. And I think that there's also a lot of just kind of like unknowns that had to be, or even like fears, we'll say, like brought to the surface so that, it's almost like this like bubbling up. Like it had to come out, it had to be said. You guys had to go through that and go through this in order to, I think, like create something even more abundant and real. And I do actually see with like the Ace of Cups, this sort of like new lease on the connection coming in. I think there's an opportunity for your connection now to level up and to really start fresh, but start fresh from a place that's like it's almost like laying down like even more stable foundation, like especially with like the flowers coming out of the cup in this artwork in the Ace of Cups. I'm almost feeling like like obviously like flowers are beautiful, right? But if you think about it, the seeds that they're planted in is dirt. So like maybe right now what you're going through is the dirt. And this conversation, this argument, this feeling of energetic separation is just the seeds that are eventually going to blossom into something real and super, super stable. So like, don't think that like every fight or every disagreement or, because you guys might need just a little bit of space between each other right now means that you don't want to be together. And in fact, I don't see that being the case at all. I think it's just a matter of like having to take a little bit of a step back so you can take 2 steps forward in your connection. Is kind of what I'm seeing. And even on the back of the deck, which I usually don't reference in these collective readings, it's kind of like you have like the 10 of Pentacles. I think there's really a deep desire for your connection to be something real and something long lasting, and something that you can both grow into. So if that's something that you're looking for, definitely take this as a sign, or at least a sign of hope that not all is lost. Really healthy people won't just abandon you based on an argument or a bad conversation, obviously depending on what that is. I'm not trying to say like nothing bad happened, but I don't think that this is a conversation of like, hey, I think you're seeing someone else, or like anything like that. Like anything, like I don't think this conversation was anything that's like red flag focused. Like I don't think there was any like third party. I don't think there was any cheating. I think it's genuinely, hey, like where is this going kind of conversation, and maybe one or both or yeah, maybe one or both of you got a little spooked by that, which caused a little bit of an argument. And now it's kind of like you're in this weird limbo, is kind of like the vibe that I'm feeling. So don't think that like this is, I think like this is a really specific reading. So don't make this fit. Like don't think that like, oh, if I have this conversation, this is going to happen and we're going to be separated and I'm scared. Like, do not think that. Like that, if you haven't had this conversation yet, do not be afraid, is kind of like my point. I think it's going to work out. So have the conversation if you haven't had it yet. And if you did have it and it led to an argument, have no fear, because I think things are going to really work out and in fact blossom in ways that you never thought were possible. So anyway, I didn't want to scare anybody by having them think like, oh my God, my relationship is over. Let's pull some oracle cards. I've had this deck forever. I'm sure a bunch of you have seen it in other creators. YouTube videos for tarot. Okay. I'm going to pull one more. I think actually one flipped. So there, where is it? No, that didn't. Okay. They're actually kind of hard to shuffle though. Like they're super slippery and I don't think that like they flip as easy. So I might just have to pull from the top, which is fine, or not. Okay. Okay. So first of all, I think for some of you, this connection, now that I'm kind of seeing some of the oracle cards, like might actually be a little bit divinely guided. Just because you did get the age of light, so you've been training for this for lifetimes. So it's possible that you and this person have come into contact with each other in this life and are sort of like meant to be in either from a soulmate standpoint, if that's something that you resonate with, or there's someone who came into your life to help teach you really valuable lessons. So again, like going back to like this argumentative conversation, this argument, like whatever it was that maybe feels like there's now like this like rift between you, I only see like alignment, So again, like this feeling that you're feeling might be super, super temporary, especially since you have, I can never pronounce this, so I'm not going to try to, but you have double mission, channeling, and uplifting humanity. So yeah, like you both might have a like soul purpose or like soul contract together. And again, like with the double mission, like the imagery obviously having like, obviously there are 4 people here, but like the way that I'm interpreting it right now is like a couple, like 2 couples, like whatever. I think this is a necessary energetic separation so that you two can come back together, like I keep saying. So you also have birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. I'm gonna put this here and this one here. Again, I think this is really giving me this like Ace of Cups energy, where it's like starting fresh. You're going to come back together, have this conversation of moving forward, and it's going to feel like a fresh new start in a sense. So anyway, actually, I was going to say those are all the messages I have for you today. I'm actually going to pull some initials, or at least some letters, if I can open the bag. I have a cat, and also we just recently moved, and I think I tied this extra tight so that they didn't go everywhere in the box. Okay, so let's get some letters. They might give you some clues. It's like initials, maybe some timing, maybe just some words that make sense for you. So let's see what you have. To me, it just might be gibberish, but we don't know. So we have A, W, R, we have O, we have Y, Roy might be significant, V, we have N, and E. So you might see something in there right now, like Roy is really standing out to me. Even though I don't have all the letters here, my mom's name is Yvonne. So maybe that name is significant for you. It's a pretty unique name, but it might be something that is also in your life. So yeah, anyway, those are all the messages I have for you today. If you see anyone's that's important to you or to this reading that really resonates, if you can spot out some initials, please comment below. I'd love to know. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you resonated with it. Please like the video or comment if you did. And as always, I'm going to say, feel free to subscribe. I'm trying to post as much as I can on this channel for the remainder of the year. So there's going to be daily shorts posted, as well as weekly readings, and then I'll also be posting some other content just about my everyday life. So anyway, that's all the messages I have for you today. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye. Okay, hello everyone who chose pile 2. So like I said in the intro, this is a message that was meant to find you. So I purposely didn't choose any crystals for today's reading because I really wanted you to be drawn in really, really closely to the tarot and to the messages that you got today. So yeah, without further ado, let's hop right in and see what the cards you got. So we have the Star, Justice, the King of Wands, the Hermit, and the Six of Cups. Okay, what I'm immediately hearing is like, oh gosh, it's like right there. How do I say this? Like protected gift. I feel like you have, and maybe this is something that you've been told your whole life, but you don't know necessarily how to like use it, or you don't know what it really is. Like maybe you feel like maybe you are like multi-talented in a lot of different things. Like even when you were a kid, like you used to be able to like paint and draw, and you love to read and play sports. You were kind of like, everything. And you feel like, and you were always like really good at everything. I feel like there's a reason that you were, and I feel like there's one or maybe like all of these things that like you were like, basically what I'm feeling is like you're meant to be like, I don't want to say like a star because it sounds cheesy because we have the star here, but I do kind of feel that like there's this like big star energy, and it's like because you're good at like so many things. And I think one of the things that you're really good at, like almost like if you're good at a lot of things, there's like a ranking system like in my head, and like at the very top of that list is being super, super creative. So if that feels like you, this might be your reading. But I feel like there's this opportunity for you to really hone in on your creativity, or like there's an opportunity for you to hone in on like one thing that you feel like you're really, really passionate about of all the things that you're really, really good at. And I think this creativity, this like passion or this passion project is going to be your life's purpose. Almost like, and I feel like right now you're not quite sure like what this is, because like I said, I think you're like the kind of person that's just like naturally good at like a lot of different things. And I think the reality is like you can probably take any of those things and like run with them and like continue to be awesome at them. But there's like one particular thing in that list that is your purpose. And I think there's a reason why it's not just super, super clear. Like you're meant to go through a journey of figuring out what it is, because like in that process, you're going to realize how passionate you are about it. And it's really like that passion that is going to really set you apart from other people who are as good as you are in it, or that are also doing it. I keep hearing needle in a haystack. So again, like this is something that like, like I really feel like you're that person that's just exceptional at everything. And basically like maybe if you feel like you're the type of person that like anything you try, you have like great luck, or like you're really, really good at stuff. And so you kind of maybe feel like, ooh, sorry, I just moved the camera. Maybe you feel right now like you're looking to change jobs, or like you're trying to do like more creative things, or maybe create some content, or like do something that's a little bit more creative versus like, I don't know, like whatever your day job is. But I think you're going to find out, or you're going to feel this urge within you to really figure out what this passion is. And again, the reason is because you're meant to do this in this lifetime, and you're meant to really like put it out there. I think this is something that is meant for other people to see. But I do think that there's a lot of like trial and error that's going to come out of, again, like there's like this like idea of like this like journey that I keep feeling of you trying to figure out like what this is and kind of like juggling a lot of things as a result. But because you go through this journey, it's almost like that's what brings out this passion. Like it's going to become like very, very clear to you what this passion is and almost like what you're meant to do with it. You're going to be like, aha, like this is exactly what I'm meant to do. You know, and I think you're going to be, I think this gift that you have for whatever this is really divinely protected and like guided. It's going to be, you're going to be like really like protected and like guided during this journey too. So, like, don't worry about like, try not to stress about like choosing the right or the wrong passion project. Like, I think it's going to be very, very clear for you what it is. And I think it's going to keep coming back around. So like, you might go down and like try like one or two different things that you're really, really good at. And like one just keeps sticking out every single time. I keep picturing like a March Madness bracket, you know, and it's like one just keeps winning out of all the things that you keep trying. Maybe March Madness is significant for you. Maybe that's like a sign. But yeah, I think this is something though that like a journey that you need to kind of go through alone, kind of like with this Hermit card, and also go inwards and really figure out what brings you the most joy and sort of like what really ignites that passion in you to keep going, like what keeps your interest. You know, what can you really dive into that you feel like it's really, really meant for you? Like, I just genuinely feel like you're going to have this like aha moment one day and being like, oh my gosh, yes. And the reason that you are going to be so successful at it, genuinely, I feel like is almost like a reward from the universe in a way, like to your soul, like for like something that you did in like a past lifetime. So it's almost like this like repayment in a way, or maybe somebody like, maybe you have some sort of like mentor, as even though I think you're meant to like go on this journey alone. You know, not to say like you won't be like doing stuff with other people, like I don't, but I think like it's gonna be like an inward sort of like looking inward sort of process or journey that gets you to where you need to be. But maybe it's you in the journey, you sort of like meet some sort of like mentor, and that's the sort of like universal like repayment, you know, sort of like soul contract type of thing. There's some sort of like with the justice card, like I'm getting that like justice is served. You know, there's almost like a karmic payment being or repayment being made in your favor. And so it's possible that this mentor was somebody that you knew in a past life, and you know, there was like karmic exchanges, like whatever that soul contract kind of stuff looks like. And now in this lifetime, they're almost like paying you back by teaching you how to get to like the highest level of this passion that you need to be in order to be like wildly successful. So this person also might be someone that you know from childhood or something like that. They tend to incarnate with you in a lot of lifetimes, is kind of like what I'm feeling. And maybe this person is like your best friend or something like that, and they keep like nudging you to like do this, you know, and maybe like that's the karmic repayment. Or maybe it's like just something that you did as a child. You were really, really good at it. You love to do it. And now you're kind of like, maybe I can like make a career out of this. So a lot of different options there. And I think if this is your reading, you're really going to resonate with this because it seems very, very specific. So anyway, let's go ahead and get some oracle cards. I'm going to do a live shuffle, and then I will also pull some letters at the end that might give you even more insight into this message that you're meant to hear today. So we have creating heaven on earth. It's happening. So that could be a sign that, like, again, there's like this sort of like divine purpose to this, where you came to earth and like you're meant to do this passionate thing, and it's going to happen. So again, going back to like that like divinely guided journey, like I think like it's gonna happen. You're gonna feel that nudge within you to start. So maybe for some of you it's outdoors, hiking, traveling. Maybe it's anything really, like whitewater rafting. I don't know. get 2 more cards, or actually 1 more. I should shuffle on camera so that you know. Okay. Okay. So you have Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? Maybe that's again going back to this like idea of like something stemming from your childhood. So maybe there's for a little bit of you, I don't know what I'm talking about, for a lot of you or for a group of you where you need to almost like self reparent in order to figure out what it is that you need to do. Like almost like a little bit of like inner child healing kind of stuff, because like this, like, how can you mother yourself? This card usually gives me that sort of like feeling of like, healing your inner child. It's also possible that like this mentor could be your mother. Maybe that's someone who is your biggest cheerleader, your biggest fan. Maybe they've always told you you should go and do this. Honey, you're really good at that. You should really do something with it. And you've always been like, no, I'm not. I'm interested in doing all this other stuff, but like they've always been your biggest fan in this. Or for some of you, and this is the more, I'm sorry if this is your situation, but maybe for some of you, like your mother or maybe even like your grandmother has passed on and they are the person divinely guiding you into figuring out what this is or like what it is you're meant to do. All right, for your last oracle card, we have Inner Temple, Devotion, Tune into the portal of your heart. So you know what this is. Again, I think this is going to be a journey that is entirely yours. And I think whatever this passion is that you're trying to do or make more of is really within you. And it's like you're going to find the answers within yourself versus other people validating you. Like, so even if, I'm also kind of getting like tune into the portal of your heart, like really stay true to your own thoughts about this. For some of you, I'm getting like a very specific message of like, be careful of like the other people out there that you might tell that you're trying to do this, because they might be a little bit jealous that you're so good at it. And also on the back of your deck, I wasn't planning on doing back of the deck, inclusions in the reading, but I did in pile 1 and I'm kind of being called to do it here now too. This is something you might get some inspiration from if you kind of start looking at things from another angle. So that might be a specific message for some of you, or not that I usually get this from the Hanged Man, but you might get like a sense of like what this is like in your sleep. Like she just like, to me, like always like this depiction of the Hanged Man, she just always looks like she's like sleeping, not like hanging. For some of you too, I'm going to say it might have to do with hair. So if you've always been like into doing hair, or if that's something like you're really skilled at, like maybe this is something that you are thinking about going into more like full time. Let's get some letters. This might be something that you will recognize, some initials, some names, some words that might be special to you. Usually for me, it just looks like a bunch of random letters. So I'm going to let you interpret this one. Okay, we have a lot here. And I keep bumping the camera, so I'm very sorry. So there's O, A, another O, ooh, V, G, W. Maybe you're the OG at this. D, T, A. You guys have a lot of letters. So P, S, S, U, PSU. Maybe some of you are going to Penn State. And then we have E and F. I'm not getting a ton of words, so this might be something that you can kind of determine for yourself. Or hey, if you're seeing anything and you're like, oh my God, it's my initials, or it's my mom's initials or something, definitely comment below. I'm I'm always curious, like if anybody finds anything that's significant to them in the letters. So would love to know if this reading resonated with you, and then also if you see anything in here, because I think that's super fun and cool. But anyway, those are all the messages I have for you today. I hope this reading resonated. I hope you liked it. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you did. I'm planning on uploading at least one short every single day, and then one longer, sort of like this kind of format of tarot pick a card reading every week until the end of the year. So really looking to bump up the content on this channel, and probably will start also posting more about like my everyday life as well, because that's something else that I'm particularly passionate about. Maybe this is my own reading. But anyway, stay tuned for more content, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye. Hello, everyone that chose pile 3. So as I said in the intro, there are no crystals today. So this is the theme of today's reading, is a message meant to find you. And I really wanted this to be crystal-less because I really wanted you to be truly tuned into the tarot cards, as I really think that there are some, as we've seen in piles 1 and 2, some really specific messages here today. So feeling really strongly about the readings that I've done so far. So I'm really excited to see what the cards have in store for you today. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look. So we have the 2 of Cups. We have the Emperor. I always love the Emperor card on this one because it kind of reminds me of my cat. The 9 of Swords, Queen of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles. My cat is black, so she looks like a lot of, like this one also reminds me of her, but she's extra fluffy. She's not necessarily like a fat cat or anything, but I think that she's a very big boned Norwegian forest cat. And so any sort of depiction of a fluffy cat makes me happy because it reminds me of her. And I'm actually looking at her right now as we speak. Anyway, it has nothing to do with your cards. Sorry about that little rant. Okay, so I think there is somebody in your life that maybe just came into your life that is super magnetic that you cannot stop thinking about. Like, I'm seeing you be like, oh my gosh, I keep hearing like they are your cup of tea. Like, obviously we have the 2 of Cups here. It's almost like this, like they might be completely opposite to you, or completely opposite to what it is that you were really looking for in a potential romantic partner. I am getting this like romantic partner aspect to it, but I think that you are just absolutely enthralled with this person. And I think they feel like to you, like even though you weren't expecting them to be like everything you wanted them to be, like they are. Like it's very unexpected. It's like this, like, wow. Like you may have like seen this person and you're like, oh my gosh, like that person's really cute. And then you went for it. Maybe you guys are already in contact and you guys have art. I am getting the sense that like there has been some like interaction. So like you maybe have already had a first date or like a couple dates, or you just happen to like know them already. You know, like maybe this is like through like a community thing, like fitness classes or like something like that, where like you guys like have had some communication. There's been some flirting. There's been some, you know, whatever, like back and forth. And it's possible even that you guys have had some sort of like first date, or you will very soon. I'm kind of getting the sense that like they are just like this like extra person. And usually you're not attracted to like people who are quote unquote extra, but like they're everything. I think like they think the same about you as well. So it's almost like you guys are like opposites, but like complementary, like 2 puzzle pieces like fitting in, right? You might not look the same, and like on paper it's like, what? But it totally makes sense and will work for you. And I think there is sort of this message with the 9 of Swords in the middle. I think someone here is like really overthinking the connection, like maybe because you're complete opposites, or they're completely opposite from what you're used to dating, or vice versa. There's some sort of like overthinking the connection in a way. And I think one of the messages that I'm sort of like getting is like, just have fun, because I really think that this person is meant to bring a lot of fun into your life, where maybe you're the type of person that's like a little bit more stable. For whatever reason, I'm getting like this more of like your energy and this is their energy, but obviously energy is energy. So I could be picking up if maybe if you, the viewer, are more of the Emperor vibe and the other person is more Queen of Cups, take it for what it is. But yeah, I do see like this person being completely opposite from you, potentially from a different nationality or country. You may have met them while traveling, not necessarily for every one of you, but there has been definitely some interaction. And I think there's a possibility for this to go deeper. It's just that right now it might be so early on that like you're just meant to have fun right now. So like I see you both like showing up to like dates like very dressed up and like them bringing out like this like creative version of yourself that you never really thought was possible. And you're like, where is this coming from? Like you just being so excited and giddy that this person is giving you any attention, and they're also feeling the same way. Like they're like going all out and dressing up to the nines and really showering you with like attention and all this stuff because they feel the same way that you feel about them. So, they're probably also overthinking it and they're like, I don't know, I usually don't go for this type of person, but for some reason, like you are also super magnetic for them. So there's definitely this like magnetism that's like bringing you two together. And then I think just like and I think like it's very like locked, like it's like meant to be kind of like energy. So like not to put like too much pressure on the connection because I do feel like this is very early stages, but like yeah, like it's have fun with it because I think there's nothing, like it's this right now, like you're on the right path. Like this is where you're meant to be. But I do think that there's a lot of potential for this person to be your person and there's a lot of room for long-term stability. But again, it's very, very early on in the connection. So it's hard to say like, they might be your soulmate. Like it's very possible. Yeah, it's possible that like I feel like they are like so magnetic and so like powerful and like they feel the exact same about you. Like you show up to the connection very stable and very like just like stable and like a master of like your emotions, and they might be a little bit more spontaneous but also like just like really powerful. So if that resonates, then, and I do think that like there's a lot of like late night like overthinking or like thinking about this person, maybe even like scrolling on their TikTok or like their Instagram, like just trying to get more information about them. And I feel like at the same time that you're doing that, like they're doing that. It's almost like you guys are like mirroring each other. But again, there's like this idea of like complete opposites. These cards are fun, but like I think okay, as soon as I said that, they literally just exploded everywhere. Anyway, I said this in one of the other piles, but I love these cards. They're like kind of old now as a part of my collection, but they're hard to shuffle sometimes. They're like slippery. But anyway, I'm gonna do a back of the deck reading or include this in the reading because I did in the other two piles, and I didn't want you to be left out. Definitely with like the Queen of Swords, I think right now there's a lot of like, what I'm kind of feeling is like with this overthinking, I don't want you to like, basically I'm getting sort of like a warning with the Queen of Swords that like there's a message here about being careful about what you say. So like don't overthink things, just have fun and just allow the connection to unfold as it's meant to. Like don't try and like rush things kind of thing, and like be really intentional about like your thoughts and your words during this time. Maybe it's even like how you talk to yourself. Like try not to put them on a pedestal because you're on just as tall of a pedestal and they think the same about you. So just a little bit of a warning we'll say there. Okay, so for your oracle cards, I just shuffled these as you heard and saw. So we're going to go ahead with the first one that came out. I actually don't know which is the first one that came out. All right, we're going to go with this one as the first one that came out. So we have answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? This is immediately I'm getting like a literal meaning from this, which is like they might be calling you and you might see their name pop up on your phone. You might be like, oh my God, I'm too nervous to answer. Like, don't overthink it. Just pick up and answer. Also, really with what is your soul calling you to do? I think, again, like if this person is completely different or completely opposite from what you ever thought you wanted, but like you find yourself attracted to them, like what I'm kind of feeling is like almost like really listen to your gut. So like really trust yourself on this and really rely on your gut telling you like what it is. Like that like intuition that you might have about this person, like good or bad, like listen to your gut. So like what is your soul calling you to do? Is sort of the message there. We also have transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. So this person might come in right now at a time for you where you needed this healing. Like maybe them being completely different from what it is that you're used to dating or what you always thought you were attracted to is sort of like a gift from the universe in a way, because it's helping you to heal in ways that maybe you didn't know you needed to and that you couldn't do on your own. So that's kind of like interesting. And I think there's a real transformative vibe, I think, to this connection, or that will eventually come out as you continue to maintain and build the foundation with this person. We also have yes. Just say yes. Again, don't overthink it. Have fun. This could be a confirmation for you to say yes to the first date, or maybe you already had your first date. Maybe you're like, I don't know if I should go with them again. Just say yes, have fun, go with the flow. It's going to be great. All right, let's get some letters. These probably won't mean anything to me as I'm pulling out these random letters. Just doing some shuffling here, but they might to you. So you might see something that I don't, some initials, some words. So we have M, I, N, min, E, mine. Maybe that's important. O, OG. I think pile 2 had OG as well. U, E, another E, H, A, T, hat. Maybe they wear a special hat on your dates, or maybe you do, or maybe they're like a hat enthusiast. Some people really like baseball hats, I think, or maybe you do. Okay, so anyway, those are all the messages I have for you today. I hope that you liked this reading. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you did. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos. I'm trying to post more on this channel throughout the next couple months and through the end of the year, and just like in general. So trying to do like a short every single day. So just kind of like a quick energy check-in through tarot, as well as some other videos that are just more about me and my life, and kind of like more like lifestyle stuff. Trying to build out sort of like the content on this channel, but you can always just stay tuned for the tarot if that's the only thing that interests you. Okay, so anyway, those are all the messages that I have. Stay tuned for the next reading. Bye.